Hi everybody, this is Grimmy. If you've been on my channel at all this month, you'll have noticed my Dream SMP as Monster series I did for Halloween. I wasn't originally going to make it a series, but I needed a bunch of monster designs for my Halloween animatic, This is Halloween, so I thought it could be a fun little challenge this month, similar to Inktober or Gotober, the challenge I used to do. In this video, I'm going to explain the lore behind my Halloween animatic, so you should watch that before seeing this video. I'm also going to go through all the characters and monsters, explain why I chose that monster for the character and or what the monster is. There's also going to be a compilation at the end of all the speed painted TikToks I did. A lot of people seem to think that Tommy and Tubbo had died and Sam was bringing them to the afterlife. I see why, but that's not what happened. Tommy and Tubbo just got lost in the forest while dressed up for Halloween. Lured by light and hoping to find someone, they walked deeper among various tombstones and ruins. They passed a gargoyle, Skeppy, who told Sam about two lost children close to the walls of their long-forgotten town. Our Sam dude went to meet them and offered to show them around their home. Lost, scared, and really having no other choice other than get even more lost in the forest, Tubbo took up the offer. Tommy, not wanting to be alone, also accepted. The rest of the animatic goes as normal. Each monster makes an appearance, talking about their town and their leader. Sam leads them to Dream's tombstone, who then appears and turns them both into monsters, making them part of the town of which they can now never leave. At the end, as the monsters celebrate, we zoom out to outside the town, where two new tombstones have been added, Tubbo and Tommy. Besides them, Callahan, a Kelpie who lures humans into the town with the help of his lantern. In the post-credits, you have Eren, Boomer and Tina Kitten looking for Tommy and Tubbo, unaware that they're being followed by three ghouls, Alyssa, Vixstar, and Laserbeam. Alright, so that's what happened in the animatic. But what about the backstory? Is the town the afterlife? Why is Dream turning people into monsters? Were all the monsters formerly human? Well, to get things clear, the town is not the afterlife. It is very much existent in the real world. It is a physical thing, but it's very difficult to find. The idea I had was this town they all lived in used to be Dream's home many decades ago, let's say in the early 1800s. When alive, Dream was fascinated with the concept of immortality and reviving the dead, testing on dead animals and corpses, which is, plays back into the whole Dream SMP necromancer thing. This really freaked out the locals of the town, and they shamed, mocked, and persecuted him for it. A lonely, bitter outcast who felt betrayed by his own home, Dream died due to malnutrition, cursing the village as he did. Editing Grimmer here. I was meant to specify that Dream died of malnutrition in prison that he was locked up in by the locals for testing on animals and corpses. I just think the malnutrition thing works because, he gets fed potatoes in the prison and he's a skeleton, so yeah, I don't know, that's what I chose. After his death, things only got worse in the village. Majority of people left or died. Of the very few who remained, Callahan was one of them. Despite being dead, Dream's soul could not rest because of how angry and lonely he was. His spirit also refused to die out of sheer stubbornness, so he ended up in this weird limbo of being dead, but not. Instant fantasy shenanigans here, and woo, would you look at that, Dream became a skeleton sorcerer thing. I'm not calling him a lich? For reasons I'll explain later. Anyway, despite being a monster and angry, he was also very lonely, so decided to turn other people into monsters so that he could have a family and wouldn't be able to leave him, just like he couldn't leave the town. And since something about the monsters being tied to the town and blah 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 magic, I don't know, it's not that deep, bro, just go with it. Basically, he wanted to curse other people to live the life he was cursed into having at the same time so that he wouldn't be alone anymore. Bringing people down to his level, basically. Or up to his level as he thinks, but I would say that's incorrect. The first victim was Callahan, who just happened to be strolling past one night. He got turned into a Kelpie with a duty to lure in lost humans. The next victims were Alyssa, George, Awesome Dude, Ponk, BadBoyHalo, Ben, Sapnap, Quackity, and Karl. And then it just continues after that with all the different members of the Dream SMP. I haven't given everybody a backstory because I don't think it's super important, but all the different members were from various times throughout history between Dream's death, circa 1820 to the present. I like to think Awesome Dude was a soldier on horseback and Ponk was a curious scientist. Skeppy could be a stonemason and Sapnap, Quackity and Karl could be three explorers. So each person was turned into a monster that sort of fit what their clothing was or what their work was. When turning each one into monsters, Drew would have no control what they turned into. Instead, it brings out the monster each person that fits them best. Like a glorified personality quiz test type of thing. And then a tombstone will appear somewhere in the area. Not because they're dead, but because that person and their soul is forever trapped in that town. So they might as well be dead. But they haven't really died, they're just stuck in that same sort of funky limbo sort of situation that Dream is as well. In summary, Dream died and felt lonely, so curses people into becoming monsters so that they can't leave the town. Nobody's really dead except for Dream. That's pretty much it. Nobody's gone through the actual process of dying like Dream has. But even then, he's also not really dead. It's a weird limbo thing. Don't worry about it. Had a few people questioning my cat monster choices, like why isn't H-Bomb a cat monster? Why isn't George some type of mushroom-infected creature? What the heck is Ranboo's monster supposed to be? I had some rules for choosing each monster. 1, no repeat monsters, so only one of each. 2, they had to be established monsters, so no internet monsters like creepypastas like Slenderman or Sonic EXE, or vague concepts like mushroom-infected monsters. They had to be an actual mythological creature or a legend or old-timey story. I did take the liberty with a couple, like Dreams and Tubbos, but I have reasons behind them. And number 3, try to be interesting. Basically, I wanted to draw monsters that people wouldn't immediately expect. For example, you know, making Ranboo a Slenderman or a creepy Enderman is like really obvious. You know, why? He's already both those things anyway. Or like make H-Bomb a werecat or necromancer or just like a cat maid, like, or BadBoyHalo a demon. Like, yeah, I could, but I could also do something a bit more interesting and research monsters a bit more. Again, I took some liberties with some of them, like Wilbur as a ghost, no, that's not Ghost Spur, or Fundy as a type of kitsune, but I still tried to add a twist to it to make it more fitting to the individual character. Basically, try to not be super, you know, obvious. Tommy as a demon is pretty straightforward. Tommy can be a little demon boy sometimes, and I say that affectionately. I went with the mainstream take on demons, you know, red skin, wings, horn, forked tongue, tail, and hooves. Pretty straightforward. Tubbo likes bees. Again, pretty straightforward. I originally thought of making him into a fawn, but I didn't find that very interesting, and that's basically what he is in the Dream SMP, or that's how a lot of people draw him. But then my friend Frobles, go check her out, suggested I make him look like a bee version of The Fly, which is from the movie The Fly. I liked that a lot, so I did just that. Again, need I say more? Ignoring Ghost Spur for a moment, I don't know, a ghost just fits Wilbur. Also because these pictures exist. Don't come at me, it just fits, okay? I was so happy when I found this monster. Nachtkrapp, a night raven in English, is a type of bogeyman from Eastern Europe. It used to scare children into going to bed, or they'd get hunted and devoured by the raven. You also have an angry raven and a good raven, where one just screams at you and the other one sings you to sleep. But I went with the most common take on the monster. So yeah, big raven monster for Philza. So, you know Technoblade's whole Theseus spiel? Yeah, Theseus and the Minotaur? Okay, anyway, big murderous monster shunned by the world. It just fits. Also, I based the design off of the Babirusa, who have a tendency to die from their tusks, digging into their brain through their skull. It was the closest pig I could find that had horns like a bull, and I think it makes for a really disturbing design. Yeah, I could have gone with a traditional kitsune, but I think Nogitsune fits so much better. Nogitsune are a type of kitsune, not considered holy like other kitsunes are, and are seen as low ranking and tend to be malicious, unlike the others who tend to be good and wise. They prefer to look like normal foxes, but shape-shift into humans to trick people. Their stories often end in tragedy, and Nogitsune are very unreliable. They also like to steal various things, including candles, which is what Fundy is holding. Trickster fox. Yes. I got a lot of questions for why I chose a Gorgon for Eret, and honestly, I chose it mainly for the aesthetic. Eret is fabulous after all, and I think Gorgons are fabulous. Also because it gives a quirky reason for the glasses, you know, with the whole turning people into stone thing. But also, I was very loosely inspired by the worst of Dream SMP Eret's story of being a snake, betrayal, who fell from grace / was dethroned, vaguely like Medusa's story. And also because Eret is sassy, and I find Gorgon sassy. I honestly just really wanted to draw a chimera, and these three just fit. For reference, I'm talking about the Greek mythology chimera, not any other types you may find. Sapnap's logo is fire, and a clip of him roaring at George during a manhunt maybe give him the fire and lion body. Rah. And also because, this clip.
I know damn well you're not talking to me, Karl.
I gave Quackity the snake tail part because his Dream SMP character tends to be slippery and the snake. Also, those are just his face markings, by the way, not scars. And yes, low hanging fruit because he's the butt of every joke. Ha 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 ha, y'all ain't funny. And Karl, I don't know, he just kind of fit. Quackity and Sapnap fit well as a lion and snake, and they tend to be a trio with Karl, so he became the goat part. I gave him some funky horns, spiral in the eyes to represent confusion and, you know, memory loss, and for the aesthetic, and he made his hair super extra fluffy for a more wild look. Small detail, they all have different muzzles based off their animal. Bad sleep schedule, looks good with hair pushed back, and is our favorite white boy that barely ever sees the sun. England is super great. What else do you need? Some people asked if he's still colorblind and if that means he can't see the color red, and my answer to that is He's a vampire. I don't know what their vision is like. You know what? He sees in black and white. He doesn't get any joy. I made his glasses more Victorian-y looking. When he's not in the darkness, he looks relatively normal with a case of pink eye. But then when he's full vampire, it's fangs and bloody eyes galore. Okay, so some people said that a skeleton necromancer is a lich. I literally never heard of this creature before people commented it, and I'm not going to call him that because based on what I found out about them with through D&D and stuff like that, it's not what I have in mind. My dream skeleton design is just that, a magical skeleton, not a lich with a special box you have to destroy or something. Liches are really cool, but it's not what my design is. So, skeleton necromancer. Pretty straightforward why. He has a revival book in the dream SMP, hence necromancer. Skeletons always have a permanent smile, which replaces a mask because it doesn't fit the look I wanted, hence no mask. And I gave him a floating head based on the sphere head dream designs are around. Also changed as a wink wink nudge nudge of being a prisoner. I don't know, I just think it looks cool. For everybody who said I couldn't make a design of Bad because he's already a monster, yes I can. I do what I want. Halo means angel, bad boy means bad angel, so fallen angel, yeah. Shattered halo, shredded wings, and a glowing chest cavity. It fits. In the story, Bad was never an angel. That's the monster he turned into, so yeah. Do not be fooled by his sweet crying appearance. That's just to trick you. Full sense of security and all. I have 3 reasons for this one. 1. Frankenstein's monster is a tragic character who just wanted to find someone to love, and Dream SMP Ponk has had his heart broken many a times. 2. Dream SMP Ponk is a doctor, so I added the Frankenstein aspect to his design. And 3. Sam decided to make a puzzle out of his arm, and he supposedly had his legs blown off by Techno's fireworks at the Manberg festival. So I got the idea of him being all stitched up to fix him. Sam actually has nothing to do with Ponk looking this way, it's just what he turned into. Gargoyles are made of stone, diamonds are precious stones. See the connection? Anybody? Also, gargoyles were often used on churches and castles to ward off evil spirits and create a safe environment for the inhabitants, and they don't move unless there's somebody to scare away. Skeppy often wanted to stay with the egg on the Dream SMP, so I just made the connection there. His eyes only glow when he's mobile, otherwise he's just a statue made out of stone and diamond. Roses, lots of baking, and the whole egg thing. I don't know, it gave me witchy vibes of potion and plants. And the cake made me think of the witch from Hansel and Gretel. Originally, all the flowers were going to be wilted roses, but then somebody on my Discord suggested a plant from Little Shop of Horrors, and it looked like a Venus flytrap, so I replaced all the rose eggs except for one on the dress with them. Also, I wanted to give her an infected look with the vines crawling all over her, like the egg. I really like her dress as well. Man lives in a tower, likes gold and is super fierce. Gold hoarding dragon that guards Dream Cemetery just makes sense. Funky little detail. I placed Punz's medal where the heart would be on a dragon, in the throat, which I based off the Beowulf story where he slays the dragon. A lot of people got really confused about who the dragon was meant to be, which just shows me how unappreciated Punz is because honestly I thought it was pretty obvious. Shiny dragon go brrr. He made a UFO on the Dream SMP, that's my only excuse. My design for him is already an alien, I just made him more spooky and was inspired by xenomorphs. He has a pew pew gun and wears a hoodie because he's going to kill in comfort. I think he'd be able to win a lot of challenges like this. Yes, I know, sirens were bird women in Greek mythology. I based them off the modern take of sirens, as well as a Sinbad animated movie. Directly inspired by Niki and Origins SMP, although my actual design for that is a bit different. I gave her freaky gills because I think it looks cool. No, it's not a Star Wars thing. A Cat-sith is a creature from Celtic mythology. They're usually black cats with a white spot on their chest and can be the size of dogs. It was also believed that on Samhain, sorry if I said that wrong, which is a Celtic festival, that they would bless any house that left a source of milk out for them to drink. But that if a family didn't put any milk out, the family's cows would not produce any milk. Some folktales also describe them as witches that had 9 lives and could turn into cats. Antfrost is a cat, what more can I say? I did add the CME's face markings to make it more Antfrosty, as well as the legs be a bit more brown to match the original Minecraft skin. This one had a lot of people confused. Alu are demons from Akkadian and Sumerian mythology. They were described as having no mouth, lips, noses, or ears, aka no features, like Ranboo. They would also stalk a person wandering outside late at night and cause sleep paralysis by covering them like a cloak. Possession by Alus were thought to be the cause of comas. This gave me Ender Walking vibes, so I think it fits. Also, small detail, in the animatic, you'll see that Ranboo is always staring right at Tubbo and Tommy. That's because they are his natural victim, humans, and he's stalking them like an Alu would. Some people thought I should have made him into a golem because his Minecraft skin is a totem of death. Honestly, I was leaning more into the shark aspect of Foolish's brand rather than his Dream SMP character. I just used the colors. Sea serpents are freaking huge, so I thought that would also fit since his character is supposedly 23'3". Foolish? Is he oversized or not? It's important for me when I draw him. What else did you expect? Acidic slime monster. For the record, none of those bones and body parts are actually his. There's this one song called The Zombie Song by Stephanie Maybe that goes, "Oh, if I were a zombie, I'd never eat your brain. I just want your heart. Yeah, I just want your heart. I just want your heart, because I'd want you." Before Michael changed up his character to no longer be a dream simp, that's the impression I got, since his character was dream obsessed. Also because zombie go brrr and I thought I could do something cool with him. Look, he has a worm buddy and spiders. And also, cool little thing, Michael retweeted this on Twitter. So, you know, I think that's pretty cool. I really let out my inner 14-year-old FNAF fangirl for this one. No, he's not an animatronic, he is a cyborg. Some of that blood is his, and his legs are intact. Mostly. I based the stomach mouth design on a Nightmare Freddy because I think it looks cool, and also took inspiration from Mangle's wires and stuff. He's rusting a bit, but he'll be fine. Bauks are really interesting, and I had to do a lot of research to find a creature that fit Connor. Bauks are Serbian creatures but are said to hide in dark places, holes, or abandoned houses. How many times has he moved into Tommy's home, wanting to grab, carry away, and devour its victim, eating pants? It's also the closest creature I could find that looked like a hedgehog, and I added some blue to try and help with identifying him. He's a ram, not a goat, guys, please. Cryosinks have the body of a lion and the head of a ram. In Egyptian mythology, they represent power. They love wealth and treasures, travel to look for them, as well as gynosphinxes, and often became single fathers because the mother, gynosphinxes, would abandon them. Likes monies and power, traveled from out of nowhere, and there's a popular alternate universe for Tubbo Ishlat's son. It fits. Also, he's a ram. Banshees are very heartbreaking spirits. They're from Irish folklore, and there's a few different depictions of them. The one I went with is that of a ghastly woman wearing all white with bloodshot eyes from crying. Typically, banshees are harmless, but hearing their cries, wails, and mournings would mean somebody was about to die, usually a former family member of the banshee. There's a few different stories, but that's the version I picked for Puffy. I honestly was mainly inspired because of the hair. No, really. Big white fluffy hair is great for spirits. And also because, you know, Foolish, her adopted son, was executed right in front of her. I think that would make anybody cry and wail, but it's mainly because of the hair. This was actually an idea from a Discord peep. I think it was Hufflepuff Bean. A lot of people thought Wendigo because of the deer look, but I just don't want to draw Wendigos. Not because I don't think they're super cool, they are, but just, I don't know, people are weird about people drawing Wendigos, and I don't want any unnecessary arguments in the comments. So I went with Kelpies instead. They're a shape-shifting creature from Scotland, usually described as a black horse-like creature that can also turn human. Some stories say that they keep the horse hooves when human, hence Callahan's design. One of the most common stories was that if you sat on the horse or touched it, you would get stuck to it and it dragged you into the depths of the water. I decided to theme my Callahan Kelpie design by making it an angler themed Kelpie because water and fish and luring people into danger and just let me have this, okay? I think it's a cool idea. Also, I added the red A on his forehead as a reference to the Captain America on his Minecraft design. That's all it is. Oh no, I made the cat maid guy not a cat. The tragedy. Okay, but look at his MC skin and look at H-Bomb. He just seems like a type of guy who's secretly a werewolf. I still have him in the anime schoolgirl outfit, like his cursed cat maid outfit. It's okay. And no, his nails aren't painted, it's just the shine. Also, H-Bomb has very blue eyes, and I remember somebody telling me that in some countries it's believed that people with very blue eyes and slightly sharp canines were humans that were werewolves, and I think that fits H-Bomb really well because he's got very blue eyes. Also, I wanted to draw a werewolf. Can you blame me? That's super cool. I wanted to finish the series with my absolute favorite design. Centaur is pretty obvious. A lot of people draw Sam as a centaur because creepers have 4 legs. But why a Dullahan? Because Dullahan have whips made out of spines, and that is badass. Dullahans are headless riders from Irish folklore that ride a black horse. It was believed that if a Dullahan stops riding, a person is due to die. If a Dullahan calls out a person's name, they're drawing away the soul of their victim, at which point the person immediately drops dead. Which is why Sam's the one to approach Tommy and Tubbo in the animatic, because as soon as he had called out to them and stopped working, it was already too late for them to get away. They were trapped. And also because it looks cool. So that's everyone. If you have any more questions about the individual creatures, I suggest doing your own research on them. I'm only an enthusiast of mythology and legends and stuff, and by no means an expert. If you have any more questions about my art or the story behind it, I'm more than happy to try and answer them and elaborate on certain things. When it comes to writing fanfiction or whatever else of my designs, I honestly would rather people create their own monsters and universe rather than use mine. But if you're going to use mine as reference or for a story, I'm not going to stop you. Just please credit me. Anyway, that's all from me for now. I'll leave you with the speed paint compilations. Thanks for watching and following this Halloween series. Who knows, with the new members, maybe I'll have something planned for next Halloween, depending on what state the Dream SMP is. Bye bye!
One, two, three, now.
I shun. With black cape and harsh, you're the devil's own son. Don't speak my name or my life will be done. Dullahan, Dullahan, I see you, and I run.